fuck is up, fight fans? It's your man 3K the Boss, aka Mr. Two Hands Up. Fa, fa. You already know what the fuck it is, man. Shout out to the whole Reaper gang, man. This is Reaper Gang Radio, man. Shout out to the whole motherfucking movement. Shout out to the whole playback gang, man. And all the motherfucking great boxing channels that I like to break bread with. Now, first and foremost, man, I would like to tell everybody rise and grind. You know what I mean? Y'all know I'm already on Eastern time as a DMV nigga, so y'all already know we putting in this work at 6:30 in the morning over here. This is another Reaper Gang short story. And might be a little bit more languid. Might be a little bit more languid, excuse me, with this short story. But as I go into it, man, first of all, I just wanted to say last night was fucking an amazing night of fights. You know, it was everything that I thought it was going to be. If you think about all of the realms of the unknown, if we think about the undercard, you know, some guys impressed, other guys was kind of but I'm not taking no jab and no fingers on nobody that's up and coming as a prospect, anything like that, because that's the whole thing. You up and coming. So of course they're gonna be holes, they're gonna be things that people need to work on. But yet and still, last night was an amazing night of boxing. So, you know, I want to shout out a couple of people in here because, you know, I was all gasoline yesterday when I did the other short story. So I really didn't get to do that. But let's get into it, man. DT3, salute. All it was good morning, boo. How you feeling? DT3, 5. You already know what it is, fam. You already know. So, all right, man. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go to the elephant in the room, which this is called the gray area. This is about Ryan Garcia. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get into it, man. Ryan Garcia, did he show me a lot of things last night? Yeah, showed me a lot of things. Good and bad. Did he get up off of the ground? Did he come back and he hit him with a devastating body shot? Did he end the fight that way? Yes, he most certainly did that. He most certainly did all of the things you would want to see a young guy do if you're looking at it on the offensive side of the thing. But I'm not going to sit up here and give the whole ego stroke that the rest of the world is going to give based off of his performance last night, because I wasn't wild. And I'm going to tell y'all why. Because if you look at, like I did a live like a couple weeks ago or something like that, and somebody was asking me about this whole situation, I'd already said previously, if he doesn't go out there and knock him out, don't mention fucking Ryan Garcia's name to me anymore. I said that, right? If anybody was in the live, y'all heard me say that. I said that I picked him to KO Luke Campbell. So those were the things that I was expecting him to do, because when I was looking at the whole situation, once again, Luke Campbell does not impress me. Luke Campbell does not impress me. When I looked at that fight last night, I genuinely saw, and I give the kid all of his roses, because he did out there and he did what he was supposed to have. He did what he was supposed to. He did what he was supposed to do. He did what he had to do. I mean, but this is grown man business. So at the end of the day, knowing this is grown man business, I'm not going to be half-assed with my critique. I'm not going to say he the greatest thing since sliced bread. I'm not going to say Ryan Garcia is on that level where he beats everything at 135. He ain't there. He is nowhere near there. And I'm going to tell y'all why he's nowhere near there. All Luke Campbell had to do was pivot last night. All he had to do was pivot. If he would have pivoted and put more shots together than just one shot, man, that kid's footwork was going to be overly exposed. Overly exposed, because one thing I noticed about Ryan Garcia last night, he had horrible footwork. And another thing, and I'm not just talking about the knockdown, I don't think the boy likes to get punched. I think he might have a soft chin. Truthfully, Luke Campbell ain't the biggest puncher. Man, I'm going to tell you one thing. All of the things all of the best fighters do at 135, and they putting this dude up there already, those are the areas that they're great in, those are the areas he's suffering again. Once again, speed there, offense there, you know, but predictable combinations, I saw it. He kept putting together the same combinations. And then once again, like I said, I noticed a few things, man. The kid just, his feet were awful, awful, awful placement. Awful placement. And I just feel in all of the areas to where all of these other 135 top tier guys that we looking at, whether you're talking about a Devin Haney, whether you're talking about a Teofimo Lopez, these are the things that they do well. They're going to pivot you. They're going to put together punches. And, you know, I'm sure people, you know, rightfully so, Ryan Garcia should be looked at for going out there and performing against a Luke Campbell, because that is the area that Devin Haney, he hasn't fought a Luke Campbell yet. And that's what we need Devin Haney to do. But I don't see him beating him, because that kid is there to be hit. That kid doesn't have any footwork. I mean, there are a lot of things that he needs to work on. And the shot that he closed Luke Campbell out with last night, great, devastating body shot, level changed with it. That was a Canelo shot. And you're in that stable and you're working with Eddie Reynoso. One thing that Ryan Garcia, and I'm telling him this because these are, like he walked up to Luke and said, you know, he taught him a lot last night. But did he really teach you a lot? Because here's another lesson. You need to look at Canelo closely. Canelo took everything that he possibly could take away from that loss to Floyd Mayweather. Canelo don't have the best feet in the game. Canelo stays well within the realms of comfort of what he could do, but Canelo's upper body game is crazy. I was just telling Boone this last night. Shifts his shoulders, head movement is awesome. He's always mid-range to where he can roll off of the punch, turn away from the punch, and use the mid-range to his advantage. Ryan Garcia is going to have to understand, because I don't see a person with great footwork there. So he's going to have to look at what Canelo does great. And I think if he operates well within that and he continues to fill out, man, the kid does have some promise. I won't take anything away from him. But at the end of the day, if you asking me, does he stand a chance against the champions at 135? No, he does not. No, he does not. And it's for all of the reasons that I just highlighted to you. Now, you got to ask yourself this. Why would he want to fight with Tank Davis right now? Did y'all think about that? There's a reason why he wants to fight with Amir Khan. I mean, excuse me. I saw somebody say Amir Khan 2.0. Shout out to the motherfucking Reaper gang. Listen, man. I didn't like the expressions he was making when he was getting punched with light jabs. You know what I'm saying? Luke Campbell didn't offer anything than a single body shot. You know, maybe a sneaky left hook over the right, over the top, excuse me, followed by a straight. Other than that, he was timid in his approach. I felt like, you know, after I looked at what I looked at, I wish that could have been Jorge Linares, because I would have got to see more. I would have saw more things, him twisted up in more scenarios with Jorge Linares than he was in with Luke Campbell. And all of the confidence the kid has and all of that shit, bro, I'm going to tell y'all straight up. Do y'all think that Oscar De La Hoya, Bernard Hopkins, Eddie Reynoso, Canelo, if he got some hand in with if he's lending his thoughts to the kids here, or his father is thinking, we interim WBC champion, fight Devin Haney. We interim WBC champion, we gonna fight. We looking to fight Teofimo, anything like that? Oh no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because once again, all of the areas where those guys perform, Ryan Garcia doesn't have it. And them boys are going to put punches together. And they going to be slick in there. And you ain't going to be able to just stand still. Because I'm telling you, bro, when it comes to cutting, ooh, man. Man. Just going to have to work on his footwork. He's going to have to, like, once again, he's going to have to learn to do the things that Canelo does. Not saying that he should be Canelo, but knowing that Canelo doesn't have the footwork, once again, he's going to have to learn how to adapt, not overextending himself in the way he gets his feet crossed up time and time again. And that had nothing to do with Luke Campbell being southpaw, because that wasn't the problem. He just didn't know what to do with his feet. Rondo overhyped. I'm not convinced. Sorry, but he's trash for me. Tank too ferocious. He's a sharpshooter, inaccurate, and that uppercut is deadly. Haney IQ will outschool this Instagram fighter. See, that's what I'm gonna say. I feel like once again, peep the moves. Peep why you would say you want to fight with Tank Davis. It's not because Tank Davis has more appeal. Tank Davis isn't a 135-pound fighter. Yeah, he went up there one time, but what did he do? They took his ass right back down to 130. We know that. And if you're going to try to take advantage of anyone, you're going to recently look at the holes that Tank Davis had against a Leo Santa Cruz when Leo Santa Cruz was putting punches in bunches and punching his face all the way to fuck up. And you're going to think that is a lesser of the evils. But I'm not going to sit up here and I'm going to tell y'all that this kid is the fucking real deal. This kid is the fucking, he's the next big thing or anything like that. I admit, there are some things that he does good, but there's a lot of shit that's predictable that he does, that he consistently does throughout the rounds. And there are a lot of holes in what I saw him do throughout the rounds. Because guess what? When Teofimo punches you or Devin Haney punches you, they're going to be sure that they want to punch you. They're not going to back up off of it like Luke Campbell was. He was worried about what you were going to fire back, because he couldn't really deal with the speed. And for what Luke Campbell had to deal with, he dealt with the speed the best way he could. They're going to punch you flush. They're going to make sure they flow through with this shot. Teofimo, definitely, he's going to make sure he drives his punches through you. I don't know, man. I'm just saying, I don't know. And what I got to see last night, that was a great slice of I don't know. But was it all of the things that the fight was going, that I said the fight was going to be? Absolutely. I said it was going to be the most intriguing fight going into this year and last year. All of the realms of the unknown. There's a lot of questions unanswered. And we got to see all of that. And overall, it was a great fucking fight. So shout out to Luke Campbell and shout out to fucking Ryan Garcia. But once again, I don't fucking know. And I'm not going to pretend, sit up here and lie to y'all, because other motherfuckers might feel a certain type of way. But if you really watch what was going on in the ring last night, you would be sitting here looking at at all the other top talent at 135, looking at him talking about he wants to fight fucking Tank Davis, knowing Tank Davis is at 130, and you would have to ask yourself, I don't fucking know. Because you and I, as fans of boxing, fuck all of the other shit, we know one thing, and this is what we do know. Was that not a WBC interim title fight? Who is the WBC champion of the world in your weight class? Why wouldn't you say anything to him? If you were truly trying to get one step closer to the undisputed, because it could be that easy for the kid. It could be that easy. So you got to ask yourself, really, why that is? And I just told you why. Don't ask me, salute. He says that against an elite fighter, he might be in trouble. Like Santa Cruz versus Tank, he stood on the spot, throwing the same combo, and good night. Absolutely. And he made himself susceptible for an uppercut. Bang! Good night. Crack that motherfucking Liberty Bell. Dome shot, crack. Sleep on canvas. Because there's one thing we truly know about these individuals. They have God-given power. They have God-given footwork. They have God-given slicks. Tank Davis been operating off a hell of intangibles. You know what I mean? But if you taught Tank Davis and he was susceptible to learning a lot of things, Tank Davis would be a fucking a coach's dream. My God, he would be a coach's dream. But what I saw from Ryan Garcia last night is nothing for me to just sit up there and just. Was that enough to just make you go, wow, there? Was it enough to just make you go, wow, there? Because I wasn't wow there. I felt like he did what the fuck he had to do. He faced some adversity. It probably knocked a little bit of chip off of his shoulders, but then I felt like, his head just went to being fucking too fucking big once again. Once again. Once again. But he did what he was supposed to do. And there's honor within that. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. Ryan Garcia has been having problems with Golden Boy from the beginning, but at the end of the day, let's look at the problems with him wanting to leave Golden Boy here. Was it really just Ryan throwing temper tantrums over at Golden Boy and Golden Boy not giving Ryan all of the things that he wants? Because maybe if we look at the fight that we just watched last night, and maybe if we look at some of the things that Oscar De La Hoya was saying, maybe that, it might make some fucking sense. Now that we play it back. Because this kid was jumping out there acting like he was ready for every King Kong gorilla, killer gorilla in the field. And we already know that there's a gray area there. It's clearly a gray area there. We know that's not the case given to what we just witnessed last night. He's young. There's room for improvement. Absolutely. But pay attention to the moves. Give a motherfucker their credit where they supposed to get their credit at. But at the same time, don't be dismissive of all the shit that he did wrong in that joint, because there was a lot of shit. He's quick on the pads, but half the speed is the trainer hitting the gloves just as much as he's hitting the pad. He looks good in the gym and in the videos, but he needs to be good in the ring. And absolutely. And that's not what translated to me. Okay, you're offensive. These are the things. Remember last night in the interview before the fight started, what did his father say? He said we had to bring Eddie Reynoso in because, offensively, he's already there. He's already had the offense. He's already got the goods when it comes to himself offensively. But defensively, that's where he lacks. He needed hair movement, et cetera, et cetera. His father was saying all of that shit when he was talking to Kate. I don't want to butcher her last name. And of course, the other pundits that were up there. But then what the fuck is Eddie Reynoso what the fuck has Eddie Reynoso been doing? Somebody please tell me that. Because this kid has not adopted one element of moving his head. He's there to be punched. So if you're his father, I believe his father is Hector Garcia. Hector. If you brought in Eddie Reynoso, the world-renowned trainer of Canelo Alvarez, if that's the reason why you brought him in there, I don't see him exercising that shit like Peloton. Talk to me nice. Let's be real about this shit. And see, this is the shit that don't nobody want to hear. And I'm not here for popular opinion. But guess what? This is the shit that's going to make Ryan Garcia better. If you brought in Eddie Reynoso and it was meant for the head movement and it was meant to make him a better defender, goddamn, deficiency amongst deficiencies. I'm talking about Swiss cheese. Swiss cheese, holes in that shit. That wasn't the best 135 has to offer, man. That was Luke Campbell. Maybe that'll help open some eyes out there when people play this shit back. That wasn't the best 135 has to offer. That was Luke Campbell. And your so-called interim champion at 135 is seeking a fight with a 130-pound fighter. Not the best that 135 has to offer. And it will be a lot easier for him to do that than get a fight with Tank Davis. And shit, who knows? Floyd might even be looking at that fight. Like, we could get him out of there. But right now, I don't even think, but Floyd, they're a little bit more, he's a little bit more of a, He likes to pacify his fighters a little bit more than that. He ain't dumb. Floyd know what he see. Tank fucking get hit was a game of Simon Says, the way them boys was the way Leo Santa Cruz was touching that shit up. And there's no different than Ryan Garcia. But there are areas that Ryan Garcia just trash at, the Tank just does way better. Movement is one of them. I don't know. At 135, I'm not going to talk about the punch at 135. I'm not going to do that, considering he's at 135. But like I said, that kid don't got no chin, man. I would have to say, what does it look like to you? If he goes up there last night and he says he wants Tank Davis, but he got an interim belt last night at 135 pounds, and the guy that's at 135 pounds happens to be the easiest fight that you could make, which happens to be the WBC champion. I know Oscar De La Hoya don't want that fight right now. I know Bernard Hopkins. Like, think about it. Think who's in this kid's corner. The executioner / alien Bernard Hopkins, Mr. Philly Shell, Mr. Master Philly Shell, counter defenses, operating off of the ropey dope, using his lateral movement, likes operating off of the counter. Does anybody think that Bernard Hopkins was looking at that fight last night and that motherfucker was like, oh yeah, I'm ready to get that nigga Devin Haney. Oh yeah, I'm ready to give him Tiafimo. Dollar signs, dollar signs, dollar signs. Nah, they like, let's milk this motherfucker. Let's give him more fights, more looks. We got to work more on this man's defense. And we got to get his hands up. That's what I'm sure they were thinking about. Man, this kid know why he won Tank Davis, man. And I hope he not sleeping on Tank. But maybe there's a reason why Tiafimo, and of all people, and we can have a big ass laugh at this if we want to, Rolly Romero was running this nigga down every chance they could get before all of the prestige that came with the belts behind Tiafimo. Y'all remember that? Maybe there's a reason why Tiafimo and Rolly Romero was chasing this man down, horning him in the media every chance they could get. And maybe we just got to see a little bit of the reasons why last night. But don't nobody want to acknowledge it. Right? Toby Bartlett, salute. Victor Bada, salute. Reynosa was humping around towards the end of that celebration, though. Legs was open on some next level. Nobody wants to see all this shit. You said it, not me. Shout out to Boxing Finesse. You said it, not me. I don't want to be perceived as a hater here. And I don't want to be perceived as an individual that's taken away from this guy's performance, because that is in no way, shape, or form what I am doing here. I'm just saying, peep the moves. We are no longer, as boxing fans going into 2021, we are no longer going to be spoon-fed none of this spin, none of this fucking propaganda, none of this bullshit anymore. If anything got to do with it, oh yeah, I'm active like gang members out in Compton right now. Yeah, I'm active like that again. So just know that I'm here to smash all of that bullshit. And if don't nobody want to tell y'all what's really going on with what they saw, I'm going to tell you that. And that is in no way, shape, or form me coming to anybody anyway. But I don't believe that I heard any of this shit. But we're going to have a conversation about it tonight. I'm just here to give you broad perspective. That's all. But was it a great fucking fight? My God. High five to them niggas. High five to them niggas for giving me everything that I needed to see. But yeah, man, just saying, everything ain't what everything seems, bro. And therein lies the gray area. Once again, as always, it costs you nothing to pay a nigga no mind. It's the motherfucking boss. This is a Reaper Gang short story, and this is Reaper Gang Radio. Shout out to Ryan Garcia. Shout out to Luke Campbell. Man, and shout out to the whole motherfucking Reaper gang. It's the motherfucking boss. I'm gone.